Hello and welcome to our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube live on the Crockadoodles puppy training page and then on our regular Crockadoodles YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have a training Q&A. Is training worth it?
Yes.
That's the short answer, but stay tuned. There's so much more to come. All right, so let's just jump into it. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Alyssa. I work Crockadoodle social media, and that's all you need to know. This is Jessica. Go ahead, tell us all your credentials.
Hey, I am a puppy trainer, dog trainer, been doing that for 20 years now. I've had the opportunity throughout all of the years to start with older dogs who had bad habits, honing them back in, and then moved to aggressive dogs because we realized that that was a big problem. And so I did that for years as well. And then I was a breeder for Crockadoodles, and then I also worked transition home for Crockadoodles. And literally this year, I was like, hey, you know what? I have been training dogs for 20 years. I would love to join your training team. And so I started training for Crockadoodles, welcoming puppies and helping them be able to just thrive in their new homes.
Perfect. Well, we're good. We're glad to have you. So we're just going to start with, we have 10 questions tonight. So here we go.
All righty.
Well, number one, what are some of the first things you teach a new dog?
Yeah, so I'm very passionate in helping dogs to know exactly what we expect them to do and make it simple. So not 100 different commands for them. So our biggest one is no, because most of the stuff that they're going to do in the house is probably a no. So no, don't chew that cord, and no, don't get that food, and no, don't nibble on my fingers. And so it's a very basic command. And it is one of those that every puppy should be able to respond to immediately, stop what they're doing and look at you for your next command to have them calm or sit or stay. Potty. That is the next one. Potty, my absolute favorite. Being able to train them to go potty on command. And I usually, with my transition home puppies and with breeding, I was teaching my puppies from 4 weeks old to 6 weeks old to go potty on command. So as trainers, it's easy for us to train your 8-week-old puppy to go potty on command. And so then you guys set timers, and as soon as you let them out to go potty, you say go potty, and literally they should be able to squat and go potty right there, and then you can bring them in, which is really convenient for when it's raining or it's snowing outside. Whatever weather there is, you don't have to wait forever, because you can train them to be able to know this is what potty looks like, this is what it is, get it done. So no and potty, and then come. I'm not a big fan of chasing dogs. I just don't. And so come is one that you can do. That's a really fun game. You can play with your family. Teaching puppies to come with treats or encouragement or just love, making it a really fun game, which exhausts the puppy, helps them sleep really well, but also is teaching and encouraging them. So the first 3 is no, go potty, and come.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, number 2. Do you use positive reinforcement, corrections, or a mix of both?
Yes, a mix of both. Dogs love that positive reinforcement. Absolutely love it. I do believe that there is a time and a place for treats, but we do have to be careful not to overuse them, because we want our dogs to obey us because they love us and they want to be loyal and they want to please us. And so a lot of positive reinforcement, I tell my kids I sound bipolar, because I will go, no, good boy, this is such a good boy. And it's like I am going from one drastic to the next drastic with dogs, and it's all day long. It's a harsh no. And as soon as that attention is broken and they're not looking at that thing anymore, then you say come, and it's a really positive. So yeah, we definitely do both. And treats, there is a time and place for treats as well.
Yeah, great. Number 3, how do you tailor your training to different breeds or personalities?
That is a huge one. I think it takes a lot of understanding your breed. And so probably the first question I'm going to ask anybody is, what is the breed of the dog? It really plays a part. And then some dogs are more mouthy, which means that they like want to bite and nip and go at you more with their mouth. Some dogs are really passive and quiet and more timid. So I'm going to use a very direct route when it comes to a dog who's like in your face and hyper and just kind of pushing the limits all of the time. It's going to be some pretty intense training for him just to be able to break he's just focused on things. You know, I want this toy, or I want to chew on this, or I want to do this. Breaking that attention and getting him his ears honed in to listening to my voice. Whereas if it's a more passive dog, I'm definitely going to be catering to and encouraging them, pulling them out of their shell and helping them be able to be excited about life and not scared of everything around them. So the breed really plays a part in that, because it tells you how smart they are. And the smarter the dog, the easier it is to train them, but the easier it is for you to be fooled by them. So making sure you're on top of your game with them. And then the personality of dog, making sure that you are not pounding them into the ground, but you're really encouraging them and letting them blossom in their training.
That's great. And what would you say your favorite breed so far that you've trained has been?
That's not kind. Obviously, golden retriever.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you have a golden
Yes,
retriever.
I have a golden retriever, and one of the great, awesome opportunities that I have is that I have trained my golden retriever to train other dogs, and so I work hand in hand with my golden retriever to be able to balance puppies and make them excited about their new homes, because a lot of these puppies are going into homes with having already a big brother or sister. And so my golden retriever helps them to be able to be balanced, to understand their place, to not push the limits, to not take bones from other dogs and get bit by them. I also, obviously, she is one of the amazing temperaments. She's had 29 puppies because we did breed her as well for crockadoodles. And so she's had lots and lots of experience with puppies and being able to train them well with that short attention span that puppies have. So she's great at playing with them, but then honing it in to really get them to realize their full potential. So yeah, golden retriever.
Well, and then that's not to say you're not successful with all the other breeds.
No.
You just have a special place in your heart for Ginger.
Yes.
As we all do.
Yes.
If you could only meet her.
Yeah,
Okay, number 4, let's move on. How do you set up your home for training success?
Yeah, so really, when you get a puppy and you ask for a trainer, they are going to give you everything that you're going to need. They're going to line it up for you to set your home up for success. But I would say probably 2 really important things, and that would be making sure you have a kennel. And then making sure, or a crate, what a lot of people call it, and then making sure that you have a leash. I do close time, which means that no matter how big your house is, no matter how small your house is, it is very important for your puppy to be with you for a good chunks of the day. And so I say close time should last around 45 minutes. You hook them to a leash, you hold on to the other side of it, you do life. Whether it's you working in the kitchen or you're sitting at your desk, that puppy needs to be aware of your energy and where you're at. It's also nice to be able to have a pillow for them because that's their place. And that's a good command for any of those things, is to say, hey, there's your place. So if guests come, they know, all right, I'm going to my pillow, or you can use your crate for that as well. And then the crate is really important for a puppy. That's where you help them be able to hone it in, calm down, because if they had their way, they'd play and play and play until they get cranky, just like a toddler. And so that crate time really just calms them down. But it is this physical boundary that they can feel and they can see. And it's supposed to be something that just gives them comfort and rest. And also can tell them, okay, it's a timeout. Like, we're just chilling right now. We don't have to run around like a crazy dog all the time. So I would say making sure that you have the correct things to welcome that new puppy in is probably the most important. I am not a big fan of gates or playpens for your puppy. It communicates to them at a very early age that there are things that are theirs and there are things that are yours. And really, there shouldn't be anything that they own at all, they're not possessive about, because that can then, in the long run, cause them to be aggressive. And so communicating to them that this is their home, you own it, and they get to live in it, will make the happiest, healthy, most balanced puppy, and they will just be able to integrate to your family really well.
Yeah, I love that. We love a balanced puppy. All right.
Dave.
The next one is, do you crate train, which we've already answered.
Yes.
But the next part of that is, how do you introduce it?
Yeah. This is perfect for treats. This is like the number one. You want them to love their crate. And some dogs automatically do. They're like, cool, this is a den. This is awesome. So I always have a blanket over the top of my crate, and that kind of makes that dark den feel. We always make sure that our dogs are close to where they first came. Which means they're packed, like they're dogs. And so they like dens. They like to be secure. So you stick a treat in there and you say kennel or crate or place, whatever your command is, and you encourage them to go into that. And you just do that over and over again. And as soon as they do it, you would just say good kennel or good crate. You don't say good boy or girl, because they didn't do good boy, good girl. They did going in the crate. So whatever the command is that you use, that is the command that you also say, hey, good job at doing that. So you're reiterating, I gave you this command, you're doing this command, good job. And so they go into their crate or their kennel and they have a little snack there, a little bit bone, whatever you want to do to encourage them to go in there. And then you just encourage them. You can sit next to the crate if you want and say, good boy, good girl. Now that they're just in there, you're like encouraging that rest and that calm. And then you only do a little bit of segments. If it's a dog that's really not sure, like 5-minute segments, but you never let your dog out of the kennel until they're not barking or whining. So when they're silenced, then you say, good girl or good boy. And then you open up the kennel and say that they can come out. But if they're yelling and screaming and barking and whining, you keep them in there until they're calmed down. And then when they calm down, you can let them out. But most dogs don't have an issue with their crate or kennel. They really love it. But treats are an amazing thing for that.
Yeah. We love treats.
Love those treats.
Yeah. So it sounds like it really just depends on how you would like to customize
Yes.
it for your dog and what you would like to see done. So if there are special things that you would like Jessica or one of the trainers to teach, it may take more than a week. It may take 3 weeks. It may take 4. It also could just depend on your schedule. If you want the puppy to be in training longer, where the dog is a little bit older when you get the dog, it's customizable. So and we'll talk about it at the end, how you can get started or how you can add on the puppy training to your doodle package. We'll talk about that at the end. So number 7, how do you customize, or excuse me, I read that wrong. Do you customize training plans based on my dog's needs? So we have established yes. Tell us how you do it.
Yeah. So depending on the dog's needs, we are going to, as soon as we get them in, literally as soon as the puppy walks into the door, sometimes as soon as they get out of the car, I'm already just nailing, okay, well, we have an issue with this and this and this and this. And this is also because I've been training dogs for 20 years. So things that you would go, wait, what? And I explain it to you, you're like, oh my goodness, yes, I've seen that. That's probably my biggest response from most owners is when we're talking, they're like, yes, I've seen my dog do that. I get that. Or, oh, I thought that was so cute when and I'm like, oh, no, it's actually so bad. That's a very common one as well. And so I am already just making a list of the things that I can do to help hone this puppy in to make them balanced and to be able to fit into the home. And then before we even get the dog, I call the owner, and the owner and I talk, and they say, hey, these are things I would like accomplished. And then I customize to that. They have lots of questions for them. There are even times where they say, hey, I want this and this and this. And as we're talking through their schedule and their life, I will say, hey, you know what? With your schedule and your life, I actually don't think this one, it would be a good fit for your family. Would you consider doing this instead? Just because obviously after all these years of training, sometimes we think we know what we want, but there's maybe an easier way, or it might fit our family or the family's needs in a better way. So we do all of that. We listen to, what does your life look like? How do you work from home? Do you go to work? Do you have little kids? Are you elderly? Have you retired? Whatever it is, do you travel a lot? So with all of those needs and all the different things, we customize the training to that. So, hey, you travel a lot. I'm always taking your dog in my car on the regular, taking him to town, doing things like that to get them used to all the travel. So when you get your puppy there, there are already things that they're not going, what is this? This is not new for them. And they can just integrate again into your family really well.
Yeah. So basically, it sounds like everybody needs puppy training. That's the conclusion I'm getting to. Okay.
It's pretty great.
Number 8, how do you involve owners in the training process? So you've already talked about a little bit how you do it. Tell us maybe about at the end when you are saying this puppy is ready to be back in your care or to start in your care.
Yeah. So throughout the whole weeks or 2 weeks, you are going to be getting pictures of your puppies, and we're going to be FaceTiming to be able to share, or little videos of like, hey, look at what your puppy achieved today. All of those things help you also to say, hey, this is possible. Being an owner of a puppy is like, when you bring that infant home and you're going, what was I thinking? And you are overwhelmed by a lot of things. So even being able to see that, hey, I know my puppy knows how to do this. Like I've seen videos, I've seen the dog do it, is really encouraging. So we do that throughout the whole week. And then at the very end of the week, if you are one of those people who can come pick up your dog, you get a whole session with me, and I will give you every tool and every trick and everything that you need to be able to help your dog be successful. Even little things that I might have noticed with their personality, all of those things, like I really hone in on all of that to be able to critique it to like what you will need to be able to be successful. If you are getting your dog delivered to you, we either way will do an email, and that email has everything written out, because when I give you a lot of information, it's a lot of information, so you feel like you've been shot with a fire hose. So with all of that, we also send an email to you, and that email is what their schedule is, how often they go to the bathroom, everything that you need to know about your puppy. And then if you are not able to pick up your dog, then we do short little snippet videos for you. This is how we do this. This is what we do this. This is the command we use for here. And we do little videos of me working with your puppy so that you know what that's going to look like when you get home. So whether you come get him here or you go and just have them delivered to you, you will have every tool that you need. And then of course, every single trainer, would love, if you have a question that's very specific to your puppy that we have trained, please reach out. You have our phone numbers, and we can just help that be such a smoother transition.
Great. All right. What is the biggest benefit of working with you versus training on my own?
Wheeled it. Such a great question. I would just have to say probably the experience. I've got a lot of it. And I know a lot of our trainers are very experienced in this. And I do know that they are constantly learning and growing in their understanding of dogs. They love dogs so much. And so they're constantly doing research and figuring out what is best for your dog. I think also a benefit would be that when you get a puppy, a lot of times we think, okay, we have to take him potty, we have to do this and this and this, but we don't put in mind the time that it takes for the training. And so that's our job, so you are asking us and paying us to spend all of our time to help your dog be successful, so we can really hone it in and make sure that it's successful, and then you can just really just reap the benefits of it. So I would say the knowledge. Also, there's a lot online, and it's funny because we're online right now. There's a lot of online opinions, and oftentimes you can frustrate yourself or the puppy because you might be doing 3 different ideas and concepts, and they're actually going against each other in how a dog thinks and communicates. And so after you're so frustrated and you're just beating your head against a wall because you're like, I can't, get this puppy to do what I want it to do. That's when you can just say, hey, I'm just going to go professional who knows dogs, who can help my dog be the most successful, and just be able to really just jump in there. So,
yeah, I love it. Okay. And the very last question, how do I get started with your training services? And I can answer this one. How exciting. So if you want your crocodile to be trained, you can either just talk to your adoption assistant and just tell him, you know, I do want that training package and give me this amount of weeks, whatever fits your, customizes to your needs and your dogs and the puppy's needs. You can go to our website, navigate to the training page and get to it through there, or you can just send us an email, team@crocodiddles.com. Attention Valerie. She's the head of our training department and she can help you listen to your needs and get you exactly what you need. So if you have any further questions, just send us an email or you can comment below. But thank you so much
You bet.
for answering all of our questions. And I hope you all have a good night. Thank you.